I'm going to take off this mask so we can get real about white women.
Don't want no spare change or handout. I see that everywhere I go. Want you to reach right in your conscience, baby, and give me everything I'm owed. I'm talking about them reparations, reparations. Oh, honey, give me all my money, money. Reparations, reparations. Give me everything you owe, reparations, reparations. For all them years of frustrations, this is the freaking Reparations Show.
Oh no, that's the wrong one. Oh. Hey! Hi there, thank you for tuning in to the second episode of the Reparations Show. I am Kevin R. Free. I am your host this week of this show that asks, what have you done for us lately? And if you don't have a good answer, we send you our Venmo link. So before I introduce my first guest and we start talking about deconstructing the concept of the white woman, I just want to tell you a little story. I am in the Crane Theater in the East Village. It was really strange to leave my house and come down here to do the show, but I'm very happy to be here. In March, when they shut everything down, I lost 3 months of work. I'm fine, I was able to get more work. But one of the great things about being at home is that I get to spend more time with my partner and with my 3 cats. And one of my cats is 18 years old. His name is Rudy. We say that he's a model because he's very cute. They're all cute, in case they're watching and anybody get jealous. But today, we changed the litter boxes because they smelled terrible. And so we thought, you know what, let's change these litter boxes. And as we were changing the litter boxes, Rudy was meowing so loud and so insistently. And we've known him for 18 years, and we know that he likes to use a fresh box. So we thought, oh my gosh, he really has to go to the bathroom right now. I wonder how long he's been holding it, but the box is too dirty. Like, we just really felt bad, like bad parents. So as my partner was pouring the litter into the first of the clean boxes, Rudy jumped in the box and got that stance, that he's very slow, he's very still, you know, concentrating, because sometimes people have to concentrate when they're in the bathroom, and also cats. I was staring at him intently, because I think, you know, he's 18 years old, who knows how long he's going to be in my life. And I'm watching him, and I'm staring, and I'm feeling really nervous because it seems to be taking a really long time. And then he pooped. My cat pooped. My 18-year-old cat pooped. And can I tell you, when I saw his poop and him start to bury it, I screamed with joy. Good boy, Rudy, good boy, you're such a good boy. I was so indescribably happy that he had made a poop in the box. And I keep thinking about how if I were out of town, like I was supposed to be right now, I would not know this kind of simple joy. I would not be thinking so much about how grateful I am to be able to be at home, to have enough work, to have enough to be with my partner, and I never would have created this show. So, I just wanted to tell that story. I have a picture of me and Rudy right after he pooped. Joey, will you flash that picture on the screen? He's cute, right? Ah, that's my little Rudy. Okay, now, we're going to talk about white women. Yay! The Karens, the Beckys, the Amy Coopers, we're going to talk about them. This theater, the Crane Theater where I'm in, is the place where I have made more theater than any other place in the world. And I've been all over the world making theater. And I was a member of an avant-garde theater company called the New York Futurists in this space. And when I left the company, I wrote a play called A Raisin in the Salad, Black Plays for White People. And the play was an avant-garde play kind of based on my time as being the only black member of an avant-garde theater company. And the characters of this play were black boy, black girl, white boy, white lady, and Kevin Are Free. And it was about a playwright who wanted to leave his expression behind because he could not write three-dimensional characters. He was only writing stereotypes. And so he wanted to leave everything behind. And at one point, the characters revolted, primarily Black Girl. And Black Girl took over the world, kicked Kevin Are Free out. She said, you want to go? Then you go. And she started making sure that all the characters were doing the things that they had always done. I wrote a monologue, so all of the plays, all the scenes in this play were based on, or parodies of, popular Black and, for lack of a better expression, white plays. And at the top of Act 2, I wrote a monologue called White Lady's Burden, which was based on the poem by that racist Rudyard Kipling. And I'm just going to read that poem for you that I wrote, and then I'm going to just say a couple of things before I introduce you to my first guest. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to take the gloves off, because now we're talking about white women. See what I did there? Okay. All right. And now, the White Lady's Burden. I take up the White Lady's burden and carry this weary load. From here to the back of the theater, it isn't such a long road. I'll make my own decisions, though they're hazardous to my health, and I'll have to keep it a secret. Only you will know my stealth. I'll relieve my white boy's burden and open myself to him, because my entire future life depends on it, and right now, it's looking grim. The Black girl's taken over, and she isn't very patient. I overheard her making sinister plans because our dressing rooms are adjacent. This is the White Lady's burden. My conscience is a curse. We've taken over Daddy's world with very little time to rehearse. That's why, before this act gets started, I'm telling you what I can. I'll give myself to White Boy to make him into a man. So, I was thinking about this play when I was preparing to host this week, and I was thinking about how the white woman is a construct, is a thing that we all have bought into, that we all have believed since we were children. I was raised in the South, and the white woman was wiser and nicer and sweeter and also more fragile than any other kind of woman. And I'm not necessarily talking about the girls, but the white woman, if she cries, then you know you've done something terrible, and you must kowtow. And I think when I wrote this play back in 2009 and 2010, that I had bought into that as well, and that the white lady character understood the character of Kevin Are Free in a way that none of the other characters understood. Because I think I believed in that construct of the white woman. Now, after this play was produced and, it was workshopped at the Fringe, and then I rewrote it, and no one's ever done a full production, but, you know. Anyways, I started writing more about white women and about how I have discovered that they are a construct, that they are not any more noble or regal than anyone else, and that we've placed them on a pedestal of some sort, like all of the Confederate statues that are now coming down. Because white womanhood is not real in the same way. White womanhood is real, obviously, but the construct of white womanhood is not real. The idea that white women should fear black women and black men and any people of color, that is made up. It was made up, and we have all bought into it. We've all bought into it. So, so now I've said that, I want to introduce you to my favorite white lady, not this favorite white lady who is Barbara Streisand, but a white lady that I have been making lots and lots of things with. We made a web series called Jem and the Bear together. We made a play called Night of the Living N-Word that was also about a white woman, and the white woman who reviewed it said that I was a sexist because I vilified the white woman for being a white woman, when in fact that was only vilifying the construct of the white woman saving the day. But we have made a web series for you that we're going to screen tonight called Becky's Through History. And I just want to invite Evan into the studio, and we're going to have a little talk, and then we're going to... Hey, there she is! I see you there. Can you see me there? I can't hear you at all. It's fine. I'm going to look at you. Wait. Am I muted? I'm going to mute myself over here. Oh, there you are. I hear you. No.
Hi.
Ah, there you are. Okay. I get very excited about technology. It's like when my cat poops. I get very excited. So I'm not going to look at you right now. Say it again.
I'm sorry, I got a big delay here.
Oh.
What I said is that your cat pooping are equivalent.
Yes, they are. So, Evan, let's talk about Becky's Through History. So, how did you get the idea to make these videos?
Well, it originated from my rage and incredulity after the election of Donald Trump at the 53% of white women who voted for him, seemingly against their interests, and the anger I felt as a woman the day after the election, feeling that I'd really been meaningfully knocked down to like a second or third class citizen in a way that maybe I was treated badly or maybe I was oppressed in various fun ways before, right? But like I never felt like really down the ladder before that moment, because it was clear to me if we were all going to vote for this admitted sexual harasser, that no women were valued equally to men. So it was that. And then it was this other, I think I wouldn't have had the words to talk about the construct of the white woman, but I think it was that. It was this awareness of the idea of white women as benevolent and the sort of clueless white woman who's bought into the construct. And I remember joking with my husband about, everybody's supposed to like thank the white lady, but really she's kind of making everything worse. And so it was those two things, the funniness of the terrible white lady and how bad I felt.
Yeah. And what was feeling bad about being a white lady or about having been complicit or feeling the veil being lifted from your eyes? This is back in 2016, folks. This is not the past 3 weeks. This is 2016. What was that like to have that conversation with yourself?
So here's the thing. When I was doing the research for this, I kept having the experience going, oh yeah, I knew that. I knew in my cells when I walked past my doorman who's black that there was a relationship in history between us. And I felt like I wanted to be careful because I was like passively aware of the history. And doing the research kind of brought it into my active awareness and helped make sense of it. So I wasn't in a place of like self-flagellation, but I was in a place of real crankiness at white ladies and my like white lady sisters, and also like, hey, I know I'm not perfect. I know I've messed this up a million times, but at least I have some awareness. We should all try to do better. Hey, ladies, let's do better.
Well said.
Thanks.
So now that you've said that, I think I'm going to close my computer because I'm apparently not on the stream except right here. So let's roll the opener of Becky's Through History. This is our new web series from My Carl Productions, co-written by Evan Hartstone and I, and me, Kevin Arcuri. Roll it, Joey.
Are you ready? Born ready.
Female, white, middle class,
All of the above.
ally, accomplice, helper, friend.
Yes.
Are you strong?
Yes. Yes.
Culture, society, privilege, affirmative action. Do you deserve a good job and a good man?
Yes,
Are you fragile?
if that would be more appealing.
Good girls. Are you girls?
Yes. No.
Sometimes. That's right. Can you even?
No. No, we can't even.
Say your name.
Rebecca.
Say your name.
Becca.
Say your name.
Becky. Becky. Becky.
Are we back? I can't see anything. I think I heard Becky, Becky, Becky. That's so fun. It always makes me giggle when we show that. We're running a little short on time, so I want to add our producer, Katie Rosen, and our director of the series, Jessica Daniels, to the screen.
Hi guys.
Hey!
Hi, guys.
It's really loud. Hey, Jess. Hi there. Hey, Joey, it's really loud down here. I'm not sure if it's, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions, and then we're going to screen the entire series. Everyone who's watching the Reparations Show is going to see the entire series. So first I want to ask you, Jess, what drew you to the project, and what were you thinking when you first read these scenes?
I came to the project by Katie. We worked together about grief many years ago. And when I first read Becky's, I thought it was really incisive and really funny, and just seemed like a better way to just really think about just my being appalled at the world and actually making something that do something about it. And sorry, there's something back. I hope you, Kevin, and Evan, where we could really have open discussion and fun, and that was sort of like a call to white women.
That's, yes, excellent. And Katie, how did you get the money as a producer? How did you get the money so that we could shoot this thing?
Well, the project has always been a conversation around issue about race, white men, and the concept of white womanhood. So we applied for a grant through the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and we were awarded such grant to do a creative engagement event. And ironically, the event was last May in 2019, May 30th, which is pretty close to the dates of when the protests started and the Black Lives Matter movement started again this year in 2020. And we led this incredible panel, and we've been really eager to get this product back out in the world and foster conversations around this. And as Evan said, sort of take a closer look and examine white womanhood and our relationships to people of color. And so thank you, Kevin, for having us and allowing us this opportunity.
Okay, of course. I wrote some and was out of town when you were shooting it, so I feel like I keep thinking about all of the new statements that are coming out lately, and I think about how people with whom I've collaborated, like the three of you, have already been in this fight, in the same way that I have been in this fight my entire professional life. And so it's good that we are basically on the same page. So we're going to show these videos. Before I show the videos, I just want to give a content and / trigger warning. The videos are satirical. They are of a heightened, absurd version of reality. And the videos depict white women specifically not being very nice to people of color, and they are intended for a white audience, especially white women. I also want to make sure that you know that the second video depicts violence against a black person. And the last thing we want to do is to trigger any people of color watching the Reparations Show, especially when we're trying to make a point to a bunch of white ladies. Joey, roll the video. We roll it? Yep.
Oh.
What is that?
It's coming from outside.
Oh.
Doesn't sound like an animal.
Very strange. I will go look.
Dear Lord, please deliver me. I have lost my way in this strange land. And now as night approaches, I am cold and hungry. Please, Lord, deliver me that I may continue to do good work in your name.
Hello?
Savage! Don't hurt me!
Oh, you were just making a lot of noise, and we live right there. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Savage! Don't hurt me!
I won't. Is this the noise?
Yes. I think she misunderstood.
Food.
Oh, no, that's not cooked yet. Here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lord. You have truly provided.
Oh, my name is not Lord.
Oh, my goodness. Here I am, partaking your hospitality. I was lost in the wilderness, but now that I have recovered my senses, I see that you too are lost.
We're not lost.
Living in squalor, barely covered, certainly unbaptized. Let me help. This is soap. I made it myself, and I can show you how. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Oh, thank you, but
And here are some pages that I copied from the primer. You can use them to begin to learn God's word.
We cannot read your writing.
Lord, bless this water. I baptize you in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And I baptize you in the name of the Father and the Son and the...
Oh, look, no, look!
Oh, well, now look what you made me do. God bless you both. Thank you for the snack. Goodbye.
Oh dear.
Get vermin.
Thank you, darling.
Don't mention it.
Oh my. Thank you.
Just doing my manly duty.
Oh, heaven help us!
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a bit of hay fever.
Oh, you startled me. I wonder what he wanted.
Just so long as you're safe, my petal.
Well, he did startle me quite severely.
Be still. Go on, get! Majestic creature. I'd hate to see anything happen to it if it ended up in the wrong place.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Frida.
Welcome.
Oh, Frida, have you checked on the kids?
Yes, ma'am.
Frida, I was worried Whitney was running a fever. She was under the weather.
No fever.
Oh. Is Jack talking to the others? He can be a little antisocial sometimes.
Yes, he is.
Frida, sit down with us for a minute. So, Sigmund Freud said that women who want careers have something called penis envy. Do you believe that? Meaning that women who want to work just want to be men.
I disagree.
Me too. I love my family.
But I wish they paid me for all the work I do around the house.
Up, darling. Skills. That's what we have. And we should be putting our college degrees to better use than keeping house. How does your husband feel about your career outside the home?
Well, he likes to eat, so he doesn't mind me making a little money.
That is so funny. He eats money. Is that the name of a dish he makes? Oh, right. Collard greens? Yeah. Girls, I think she means her husband doesn't have a job.
No, we both have jobs, but neither one pays as much as we'd like. He has an engineering degree, but he drives a bus. I have a degree in psychology, so I'm familiar with Freud, and I disagree with him as well. My husband and I are united in the struggle against discrimination. We want more too, but it seems the fight against hegemony gets harder with each game. You know what I mean?
So thirsty. Would you bring me some more tea, please, Frida?
Me too.
Frida, will you check on the kids again?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mary, the client loved your idea for the new Pads with Wings campaign.
What about my idea?
As you know, they were looking for a meaningful way to connect with Black women, and Mary's idea spoke to them.
That's great. So, next steps.
But I was working on Wings. I had
Becky, we want you and Becca to work together. As you know, we're pitching Touch of Yogurt shampoo. We think that you and Becca would be a great team to wow them.
Yay, team!
Yeah, is that because Becca and I are the only ones who can use the yogurt shampoo? Because we have great hair.
What are you talking about?
I am so tired of being penalized for being white.
Excuse me?
Actually, you have good hair too.
First, Mary got the promotion, even though I've been here longer.
I have an MBA and more years in the field.
And then you take me off the every woman product for the white woman product.
And Asian woman.
I just feel like no one will ever give me a chance because I'm white. And it is so unfair.
It is so hard.
Thank you.
You being put on the yogurt shampoo account with a junior associate to work with is a vote of confidence.
No, you've never liked me. Why are women so competitive with each other? I should probably bring this to Chad.
Should I call him?
Let's not get personal here.
I can go get Chad.
So you admit it. You don't like me. Well, I can't help the fact that I'm white. That's reverse racism.
Becky, I don't think you really know what you're saying.
Shut up, Mary. You think you're so great because you got the promotion?
Becky, that's enough.
White girls, am I right?
But seriously, I think this is going to be great. I have a lot of thoughts about shampoo.
You're taking this to Chad, aren't you?
Yeah, sorry.
Theater, the award-winning NYC Fringe play, Colorblinded, and a revival of David Rave's In the Boom Boom Room. Her screen credits include work on Daredevil, House of Cards, Law & Order, SVU, and Bull. She's a former radio personality on NYC's Power 105.1. Malika has voiced over 100 TV and radio commercials, 100, and can currently be heard narrating the TV One crime series, Fatal Attraction. Malika is a proud graduate of Spelman College. Please welcome Malika Millette.
Hi.
Hi, Malika!
Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm going to sit down and introduce our next guest so that we can all talk together. This is Ms. Kanani Ayo Holder. You'll correct me when you come in the room. She's a bold and award-winning artist, activist, and educator dedicated to systemic change through critical analysis and community engagement. Since 2001, she strives to positively impact underserved schools and audiences to advocate for equity. She's been art department chair at a high school for LGBTQIA youth, and currently a community engagement artist for the public theater and theater teacher at the Schomburg. Holder consults with institutions including the New York Times School, Apollo Theater, Studio Museum of Harlem, and Prospect Hill Foundation to create curriculum about race. Holder works at the intersection of criticality, the arts, media literacy, and policy. She recently completed a fellowship with Broadway Advocacy Coalition and Columbia Law School to empower artists creating performances that address criminal justice issues. Holder is currently producing at Black Issue Issues, a satire about race relations at South by Southwest EDU and at the Public Theater's Joe's Pub. You can find her at Black Issue Issues on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Welcome, Kanani Ayo Holder.
Oh my God! It's Black and
Happening. Did I pronounce your name right?
And you did the second time. I was like, well, all right, well, let's just right way.
The second time I did.
Yeah, second time.
Okay, good. I'm hold on to the second time to make sure that that is like the way I say it forever, because I know that we're about to be friends. Kanani, damn it. You say it again? Kanani. I'm going to show you that phonetic spelling that you sent me. Kanani had a solo show called Sit Your Ass Down that I really wanted to see in the Fringe a few years ago, and I missed it. I'm an asshole. Excuse me for saying asshole. All right, so now we've seen Becky's through history. Malika, I want to ask you, what was it like to be on the set versus in 2020 watching it?
Oh wow. Well, being on the, can you hear me? Because I can't hear myself anymore. Okay. Being on the set, it was great. I mean, listen, when I first saw the title, I was like, yeah, I'm game. I didn't even have to read anything else. The title is self-explanatory. And being on the set, it was really great. You know, I hadn't seen all of the works until last year when it was premiered. So I didn't necessarily know the whole body of it. And it was very different for me seeing it last year than just seeing it now, to be quite honest with you. I appreciate you giving the trigger warning, because even though I knew it was coming, it really affected me when I watched it. Understandably so, but it's just, I am so tired of seeing Black trauma. And this is not to discredit the piece. I understand its place in it, but it's just that thing where it's traumatizing to see it, but it's also traumatizing to hear other people see it and say, yeah, but. So, I mean, I could go on. I mean, I don't know if you want to ask me about it, because I can go on about it.
The next time I host, I'll have you on to talk about anything. I do want to say that when we made the videos, when we wrote them, it was really important to us that we tell people that this was intended for a white audience as an educational tool, and also so that we can foster and spark conversation. And so when we released them last year, we made sure that there was a panel discussion. And after the Reparations Show, we're going to take down most of those videos from the video so that we can be really intentional about releasing them into the world. So I said that out loud. I probably should have let one of the white ladies say that. But
Kev, can I just leap in real quick? I just wanted to say while we're talking about it that I also think that we probably would have written different videos if we'd written them now than we wrote them back then. And at the time, like in the beginning, I talked about how mad I was after the election and at white ladies. Yeah, still true. But I really kind of wanted to hurt them a little, to hurt us, you know, like in like a loving, but like a tough loving, like a give them a good shake or like a slap them across the face and wake them up kind of way. And in the current climate, it feels maybe a little, I mean, I feel like white ladies deserve it, but it feels a little abrasive as a tone for a general audience, you know?
I think definitely white ladies deserve it, the ones who believe in the construct of the white lady, but the people of color don't. And I also, we had a conversation about when we wrote them, I didn't feel like there was a role for me to play because I didn't want to play the enslaved person in the second scene. And so it was important to me then that I was also not being seen that way, and also that I was not doing that. Canadian, let's get you into this conversation. Are you there? Canadian? I can't hear you.
Great. I think you now.
Now I can, yes.
All right, so I have All Lives Matter Alma. She's colorblind. And so we tried her best to witness this montage of white women addicted to whiteness on stage, but unfortunately she didn't get the nuance. And I've been working on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really appreciate that this project was ahead of the curve, because I feel like when it comes to whiteness, the crux is white women. So the fact that you have a gold board, check it out, two white women, I think is a crucial divide line between any type of progress we're going to get in terms of eroding white privilege. I have a logo. It says, you birth them, you birth them, you bathe them, you bury them. This systemic racism coming on the part of white male patriarchy comes out of the white woman's womb. That came on. So it has to stop with the white woman. She is the closest in proximity to power to the white man. She's the only one that the white man will listen to, and the white man doesn't even listen to her. So you, as white women, just like they did for the Daughters of the Revolution, right, in the opposite direction, they were the ones that commissioned all of those Confederate statues. This is a new movement. The Daughters of the Revolution in reverse. To create a think tank, a social club, a media empire, to convince white women that they have more to lose than to gain by continuing the perpetuation of these white men going out your wombs. Because the white women either. That's why the whole feminist movement was white women saying, I'm back with who? Black men? Oppressing them? No. It was white men. The whole feminist movement was because of white men oppressing the white woman. So when I saw all the sketches about, you know, the nanny state, or the black woman, you know, cleaning, helping, the white woman being victim, the racism, all of those are thought plots that we as black people live through. It's not a satire. I did an interview the other day for a private school, and she did that to me. She was like, oh, you don't think I'm black? She was like, I'm 1/4 black, different DNA. I mean, it was ridiculous. And she's running a private school in New York City. So these same types of obfuscation, distraction, you know, when you all spit the water during that one scene with the house cleaner?
Yes.
Hello. the way that whiteness silences to reset any type of maybe progress right back into racism, all of that needs to be spoken about. This needs to be on HBO, the Netflix, the Hulu's. What else is there? The YouTubes?
Listen, the YouTubes, it's on the YouTubes right now.
And because she needs to see it a few more times.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. Okay.
Kennedy, thank you so much for all of those thoughts. We are a little short on time, so I want to get everybody's final word on this. White ladies, do you have anything to say? Are you still there? I got a text saying that we were frozen.
We lost Evan.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you and thank your guests for having us and allowing us to show this work and to talk around it. And I hope that we can continue to dismantle the concept of white womanhood and continue to figure out ways to show this piece and offer opportunities for white women to speak on the issues that we raise in them.
All right. So, Katie, since I can hear you, I'm going to ask you, how much did you get paid to be on this show today?
Nothing.
Bye. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Goodbye to Malika. Goodbye to Kennedy. Goodbye to Evan. Goodbye to Jessica. Thank you all for being here. I want to say a quick word before we move on to our next segment. During the pandemic, my parents in North Carolina were shut down, quarantined. My stepmother said, I haven't touched a doorknob in 4 years. I'm fine with this pandemic. They were quarantined at home with my sister's dog, Kingston. Kingston was a really, really sweet dog. My stepmother, growing up, she and I always had a great time. She's very funny. She's not super affectionate. She's not a hugger. We always make fun of the way she hugs. She leans over and then pats the back. And I've been thinking a lot about her and my sister, who is also very strong. And my stepmother saying to me one time, I'm raising Margaret, my sister, to be strong. And I kept thinking that's interesting. Well, this week, Kingston died. He was 10 years old and he passed away. And my stepmother called my sister to tell her, your dog passed away. And she was crying. And my sister said it was the first time I'd ever heard my mother cry. And I started thinking about that, about what that must be like to raise your daughter to be strong and to be so strong yourself that no one sees you cry. Until a moment like this, a helpless pet who's been helping my parents get along during this quarantine passed away. And I am holding my sister and my stepmother in my heart extra close, and I'm thinking a lot about my relationship with all black women and the black women that I write about and what I can do to pay them some reparations for how I've represented them in the past. And I just want to say, my stepmother, though she's not a hugger and though she's not the most affectionate person, she shows me in action how much she loves me. When I got married to a man in 1995, before marriage equality, she was the only person in my family who willingly came to my wedding and stood up for me. And so I just wanted to say that out loud to all of you. All right, let's move on to our next segment, This Week in Reparations. Hit it, Joey. Are we back? Okay, great. This Week in Reparations. So as you know, we are holding people accountable on this show for the things that they have said and done in the past 3 weeks about how they stand solid with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I don't have an organization ready to talk to you about, but I do want to tell you about what happened to me the other day. I got a text from a friend that said there was a bunch of hearts or was something, and I said, I feel the love, but I'd rather have the cash. And then I heard bloop, and I got $10 on Venmo. And then I texted her and said, reparations, holy shit. And she said, not reparations, but maybe a beer. And then I heard bloop, and I got another $10 from her. That is my dear, sweet friend, Caroline Burrow. I think she is in the studio. Can we have her on air, Caroline?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, you're here! I can't see anything or anybody. You're here. How are you, my love?
I'm well. How are you?
How are you? I'm fine. Where are you right now?
I am from the broadcast studio in my bedroom.
Oh, in your bedroom. I love talking to you when you're in your bedroom. I'm gay. So here's a question for you. What made you send me that money?
Well, it's funny because I think like a lot of people, a lot of white people in that moment was feeling so much pain for my Black friends and had been in conversations about what I could do. And someone had suggested to me, maybe that day or the day before, you should send your friends, your Black friends, money. You should send them reparations. And at first that idea seemed, I mean, of course, I support reparations, but when you distill it down to a micro level, I wondered if it would be awkward. But the day before, I had actually sent another friend some money, and it was very well received, very warmly received. And so when I sent you that text to let you know I was thinking about you and I got your response, I was very happy to send you, $10 or $20 worth of reparations. But I think for me, it was interesting because I think we are, as white people, or just maybe I'll just speak for me, you're grappling with the transition from being an ally to being an activist, someone who actually does actionable things. And I think even sometimes just sending a little tiny reparation feels like actually making an effort, even if it's just a drop in the bucket.
I want to offer something to you before I introduce you to you started a movement, by the way.
Oh.
By the end of that night, I posted our texts without your name on them on Twitter, and by the end of that night, I had made $70, and then 2 days later, I made $120. It was really exciting. So you started a movement. So before I introduce you to one of your followers, I just want to say I learned something in 2016 when I was working in Minneapolis. One of the people on a panel was talking about not using the word ally, and you said the transition from ally to activist, and I think activist is great. And I also think this word that she used is really great, from ally to accomplice. Mm-hmm. And what you are doing and what your action is now is to be my accomplice for social justice or for equity and inclusion. So I wanted to offer that to you. Now I want to introduce you though to your follower. We have one of them here on the phone, or here in the studio, Mr. Brian Sullivan. Brian, are you here?
I'm here.
Hey, Brian Sullivan! Brian, have you met Caroline before?
Oh, nice to meet you, Carol.
Nice to meet you too.
What am I doing?
Say that one more time.
What am I doing here? This is really.
What are you doing here? That is the question. What made you send me that money? I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Caroline.
Well, for one thing, I wanted to be on this show, so success. But I for a lot of the same reasons that Carolyn was just talking about. Normally, in situations like that, we'd say, I'd buy you a coffee or a tea, or it's like take you out or meet you somewhere, and we'd have these coming together things like this that we, not only in theater do, but all over. We couldn't do that. This was like a 1-2 punch of, enjoy your quarantine with us, with this whole new thing. So we're all looking for something to do, to be, as you just said, an accomplice, and to be like whatever is moving forward, to be with these people that we love, we want to do. And it's not your job to tell us how to do that. It's something we have to figure out. It's like, I've heard it said many times, and I think it's apt. It's like, we created this whole damn mess. It's like we have to figure out a way out of it, and that's on us. And so aside from the usual, it's like, yes, signing things and emailing and making the calls and protesting and donating, surely there's something else. And so even if it's just making somebody chuckle or making us a stupid, not that, reparations is obviously not a silly thing. The idea of me randomly Venmoing you money seemed a little on the humorous side. And so I saw that was going on, and I said, maybe this will make him chuckle for like a second. And if it did, then it's worth it. So I'm like, especially because we had never Venmoed before. And I randomly find that, because I miss a lot of birthdays and holidays, that when you just randomly send people money, they're excited about it, but also a little bit baffled. It's like, why? And I get satisfaction from that, of the mystery and just the bafflement of it. This is obviously a very clear reasoning behind it, but it's like, if this makes Kevin happier for like 5 seconds, then great.
Well, it definitely did. First, I want to say, Caroline, I know that you have another appointment. You're very busy. If you need to go. I have like a minute left of this little segment, but I just want to make sure that you know that if you need to leave the studio at any time, you may click off. But the people who are watching this show, This Week in Reparations, or Reparations Show, this segment, This Week in Reparations, has a scale. We grade people on their reparations. And so, Joey, will you roll their score? Is it done? It's not happening? It didn't work. I can't tell. Say words.
This is the freaking Reparations Show.
Joey, can I keep talking?
I saw it.
We're back! 40 acres and a Moscow. 40 acres and a Moscow mule. That basically means that a Moscow mule is good enough for Oprah, but it's not good enough for me. You still have to keep making reparations. But you do get points for buying me liquor. That's it. Thank you very much, Caroline. Have a good night. Brian Silliman, you also have a good night.
You too.
Love you guys. Goodbye.
You too.
Thank you. I have a final word. This show is harder than I thought it would be, so I want to say that out loud. But I also want to say this thing. When I talk about white women and the construct of white women, I think a lot about the massacres, the people in Tulsa, the people in Wilmington, North Carolina. The story goes that they were all caused by white women saying a black man touched me or looked at me or whatever, and then the massacres happened. But I want to say that Kanani said a thing that is really smart. And someone else said this to me this week, Erez, the co-creator of the show, that it wasn't white women who caused it. The white women, it was a convenient excuse for the white men who did a lot of the killing, most of the killing, all of the killing. They needed an excuse to slaughter black people. So I just want to say out loud on my show, the Reparations Show, that I recognize that the construct of the white woman that we have all bought into was created by the patriarchy. And so when the Me Too movement happened, when women were standing up and saying, we will not be complicit in our own demise anymore, it was really exciting. And so now that people are waking up after seeing Amy Cooper, who some say was not sinister, but others say she was completely sinister, that people seeing her do what she did has awakened them to their own part in buying into white supremacist cultures and the construct of the white woman. And I'm very careful about using the word hope, but I do hope that now that we are seeing this, now that you are seeing this, in the way that me and my collaborators and some of the other people you've seen on the show tonight, that you are ready to now topple those false idols. That's it. I want to thank you all for watching the show. I'm very excited to have ventured out to the East Village with my mask and my gloves to bring the show to you. I want to thank Erez Ziv for helping run the broadcast tonight and for co-creating the show. I want to thank Joey Neal. Yes? Yes. Something like that. I can hardly see you. I'm not wearing my glasses. Sorry. In the booth, Joey. I want to thank Emily Godfrey. I want to thank all of my guests. Evan, Jessica, Katie, Kanani, Malika, Brian, Caroline. I want to thank Germano Toussaint, who incidentally is the host next week of the Reparations Show, for writing and singing our theme song. And I want to thank Trent Miles Carson, who designed our logo, the Reparations Show. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Are we done?